Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Hi, welcome. Come on in. Feliz Navidad. Thank you so much for joining our strawberry tamal class. Let me see who's here. Oh, I see Sasha. Hi, Sasha and Lilian, Anna. Come on in. Are you guys ready to make tamales with me? Hi, Valentina. Oh, Max, get your spoon ready. And Mondo and Gabriel. Oh, hi, Leila. Oh, I'm so happy you're all here. Feliz Navidad, you all. So, before we get started, let's give Northgate a huge thank you for bringing us all together for this beautiful Christmas celebration, for helping us build our traditions and memories. On the count of 3, let's give a big thank you to Northgate. 1, 2, 3. Gracias, Northgate. Okay, so let me tell you a little story. When I was a little girl, nobody would let me help with the tamales. They would say, like, Nicole, you soak the husks. So today, it's the kids in charge. Tell mom, dad, grandma, brother, somebody to take a seat. We're gonna call them only when we need them. But today, kids are in charge. So let's get this strawberry tamal making experience going. First things first, let's boil a pot of water. So I have a little pot of water here, and I already put water in it. I'm using about, I'd say 8 cups of water, but that's only because I have a big pan. So, I mean, a big pot. So if you have a smaller pot, boil enough water just to fill it right below the steamer level. It just depends on how big of a pot you're using, but we need to start by boiling our water first. And also, feel free to jump in, ask me any questions. I'm here, and keep mom, dad, grandma, brother on the side, okay? Ready? Okay. So we got our water boiling, and next we need to soak our husks. So I took some husks and I put them in warm water, just as hot as I could get it on the sink, not boiling or anything like that. And you could see here, I also cut a few strips of hojas so that we could tie up our tamales. See that? Okay. So while those corn husks are soaking, I'm going to start making our filling. Any questions so far?
None yet.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to start with making a filling for our tamales. And I'm going to use a room temperature cream cheese. And we want it to be room temperature so it'll mix easier. You know, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use a spoon. I feel like the whisk is going to get the cream cheese stuck in there. So no whisk today. A whisk. And then a half a cup of strawberry jam. And if you don't have jam, you could use jelly. The difference between jam and jelly is that jam has little pieces of fruit in it. So if you're using strawberry jam, there's little pieces of strawberry in it. If you're using jelly, then that means they've removed all the fruit and it's just the puree of it or the juices that congeal and make sort of like a jelly. Okay, so we're gonna pour that right in to the cream cheese. And just these two ingredients first, because we want to mix them together before we add anything else. We're making this filling for our sweet tamales. A lot of people just use the masa and they make tamales with just the masa, but it's always nice if you have a little filling in the middle as a tasty treat or a nice surprise. It just adds to the equation. Who are we kidding? We love little treats in the middle. And if we can't have them, the masa on its own is really delicious too. And feel free to ask me anything that pertains to these delicious tamales, kids. I'm wondering if you all could hear my piñata hits I'm playing in the background. This is the Northgate Spotify playlist, and if you haven't downloaded it yet, do it. Okay. So here we go. You see that? It's a little bit, the cream cheese is a little bit chunky, and that's okay. If you don't like those chunky bits, you could just smooth it out with your spoon a little bit by pressing the spoon into the bottom of the bowl just to really get it. But I think it's fine. I like it. And especially mixed with the jam, it's really yummy. Okay. Then I'm going to add fresh cut strawberries. And just for the record, I got everything that I'm using today at Northgate. Of course I did. Of course you did, right? We went there for our delicious strawberry masa. And there we go. And just fold in your strawberries. I don't know if yours are cut already. Am I going too fast? Feel free to ask me anything. Okay. And then I'm gonna use this coconut. It's toasted coconut. Okay, somebody's saying, can I slow down? Okay, I'll explain about the coconut while you all catch up. So I took shredded coconut and I put it in my toaster oven for a little while, just until it browned. Usually you have to keep an eye out if you're gonna toast coconut because it browns really quickly. So you can leave it alone for about 2 or 3 minutes, but after that you should watch. And if you don't have a toaster oven, you could also lay out coconut on a baking sheet and put it in your regular oven at 350 degrees, but the same, you have to keep an eye on it because it'll go from brown to burned in seconds, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and add this in. So far what I've done is I added a half a cup of room temperature cream cheese, a half a cup of strawberry jam, a half a cup of chopped strawberries, and now 1/4 of a cup of toasted coconut. Okay, let me see that. And then just mix it until it's all comes together. And if you want to cheat just a little bit, you could get a spoon and taste it too. I don't know if you'll have any of this mixture left over, but if you do, you can absolutely put it on toast. You can put it on top of your pancakes. It's really yummy. Do we have any questions? Are you ready for the next step? So let me check on my boiling water and see where we're at. It's not quite there yet, but that's okay because we still need to spread tamales. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start spreading my masa, which here is my strawberry masa that I got at Northgate. It's right in the refrigerated section by the olive oil masa or the pineapple masa. So let me open up my bag. Okay. So I'm just gonna take some of these out, and having the prepared masa really makes this whole process so much easier and lets us bring our strawberry tamales to the Noche Buena table tomorrow night or today as a snack if you're gonna watch a Christmas movie. That's always good. So here we go. Okay, I'm gonna start with this giant hoja, and we're gonna learn this method on corn husks. I know a lot of people use banana leaves, and I've seen some people use foil. There are all sorts of different methods to wrapping a tamal, but we're gonna use corn husk, which is the way that I learned when I was a little girl. And let me get a spoon. I'm just gonna take, and you can see here, I'm just gonna take some of my masa and place it here on the leaf and spread it with the back of my spoon. And I wouldn't suggest going too thin with this masa just because it's a sweet tamal and you really want to taste the sweet masa. You don't want to just taste filling. We want to actually eat this masa because it's so good and we love it. Okay. Do we have any questions so far?
I don't see any in the chat box, Nicole.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
No problem.
All right. Look how pretty the color is too. It's so festive and fun. Okay. So now I have my masa in my husk, and notice I left a good amount of room all around the edge. You can make it more center if you want. This one I put sort of to the side. The next one I'll do right in the center. And then just take a little bit. I say you take a half a teaspoon. I don't have that measurement here, but I could sort of eyeball it and take a half a teaspoon and just put it in the middle of your masa, because once we enclose this, if you put too much, it'll drip out. So we don't want that. So I put the filling there in the middle of the masa, and then I'm just gonna fold it up like this so that both edges meet, sort of like making a taco. And then we're gonna enclose it. So just pinch it around the edges to make sure it's completely enclosed. Do you see that? So now we have this extra flap. We're just gonna roll it over here and bend from the bottom up. And there's our tamal. If you want, you can add a little bit more to the top, like get a glob of masa from your masa and just shove it right in there. If you want it to enclose it more, you could do that. Let me just wipe my hand. Okay. And then here, because we want it to stay close before we put it in the pot, we're gonna wrap it, sort of like a little gift. So I have these strips that I cut earlier, and put this back up here. Because let's be honest, tamales are little gifts. Especially when you're eating them right out of the pot. I feel like sweet tamales sort of taste like a yummy little sponge cake. That's the best way to describe them to somebody who's never had them. Just, it tastes like a little sponge cake. It's so delicious and sweet, and it's a departure from the savory tamales. And I'm just tying on both ends because it looks cute, but you don't have to. Oh, I hear Juan Gabriel. Oh, I love Juan Gabriel. If you need a dance break, feel free to stop and wiggle, because tamales are a lot of work, and if you need to get your sillies out, get them out. But let's keep making tamales. So here, look, this is my first one that I made, and like I said, I wrapped it on both edges, but always remember this side is gonna go up when we put them in the pot. So let me show you a different method on how to do it. So, okay, let's see. I've got some extra napkins here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and dry these off a little bit so we don't have them too wet. Okay. So here is another method, and it makes things go a little faster. You get some masa with your hands. Like, think of it sort of like Play-Doh. And you go to the middle of your corn husk and just shape it out into a little circle. This is if you like being one with your tamal, which I do, and I found that it was a really fast method. Of course, it's messy, but messy's fun sometimes. We don't always have to be perfect. Okay. And especially if you're doing this with your brother or sister, you could be like, what did you say? And then touch their hand with the masa. Oh boy. Okay, I have a little bowl here so I could clean my hands. And then again, we're just gonna take the filling and put it in the middle. And fold it like a taco. See, this one I put a little bit extra filling so you could see it wants to run out. And just enclose it all the way around, all the way around. Can you see that? So you could see through the corn husk. It looks like a taco shape in there. And then I'm just gonna fold over the excess of the husk and fold up again. It looks so cute. This one's not a little one, it's not a big one, it's a perfect one. And you could even tag them, like you could tie it in a way so you know which ones are the perfect ones, and maybe gift it to your grandma or to your mom or to whoever's in your house, and you want to give them something special. Be like, I made you the perfect tamal. Okay, Do I have any questions?
No, none in the chat box yet. I know there was a lot of people that were cooking today with us, so if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box.
And then just wrap this pretty baby up. Is anyone singing Christmas carols today? Or watching any good Christmas movies? We watched Elf the other night, and that was really funny. I have an 11-year-old boy, and that was his choice. So, okay. Then there's my second tamal. I'm only gonna make a few more so that we could continue making these together, and then we'll move on to the crema. Let me just wash my hands, and feel free to wash your hands as often as possible. Continue making your tamales. Right.
We do have a question. Is there a certain side of the leaf to spread the masa?
Sorry, what was the question?
Is there a certain side of the leaf to spread the masa?
No, I usually just look for the way the leaf will shape itself. So this one is shaping upwards. So if I tried to do it this way, it wouldn't be its natural crease. You want to look for the natural crease, or however it looks like it's a bowl or a little concave. If it was the other way, it doesn't do that. It wants to be on this side. So I usually just let the leaf tell me which side it wants to be spread on. And this one, just here. I hope that helps. Okay, so let's continue making our tamales. I'm gonna go back to the spoon method. And I can see and taste that Northgate has added little bits of strawberry into the masa, which is such a nice little decadent treat when you have the strawberry in the masa as well. It's so fresh and delicious, and they made it easy for us. I got to admit the truth though. I went to Northgate yesterday, and I was in there in the store, and I spied roscas, and their rosca is my absolute favorite. I wait for it all year. I wait for this rosca to come out, and I know it's early, but I buy it. The second I see it at Northgate, I'm like, oh, it's rosca season. And if you haven't had their rosca, I highly recommend you get to Northgate from now till January 6th, I think, or 7th, they're there, and the best. They sell them in all sizes. I always buy the big one, but this year I bought one that's just for my little house. Well, maybe not even just for my little house, just for me. And I have that with chocolate caliente and chef's kiss, promise you. You guys need to get it. Okay, back to this. So here we go. And this masa is spreading so nicely, like it's so creamy and perfect. Oh yeah, Juan is now on the piñata playlist. It's called Piñata Hits, by the way, everyone, if you want to download the playlist. Okay. Just a little bit more right there. And then back to my filling. Look at how pretty the filling is. You could see that we have fresh strawberries and coconut, and it's just yummy. Okay. Here. And I forgot to say, if you, well, first I'll talk about that after, but okay, just fold again like a taco all the way, and then to the side and up. We got our little regalito. So I was gonna say earlier in the class that you can fill your filling with anything that makes you happy. So let's say you don't like coconut, you can add pecans or peanuts or walnuts or almonds or any sort of nut you have in the house. You can add that in there. Or if you don't have fresh strawberries, you could add raisins or pineapple or dried cherries. So even banana, strawberry. So anything that you have in the house, if you're lacking something, add something else that you like. Just think of the flavor combination. What goes well with strawberry? If you have chocolate, let's say you have some Hershey's chocolate laying around, you can put a piece of that in there. Experiment. So tamales are whatever you want to make them. If you want to add, a piece of apple to yours, or if you want to add any sort of dried fruit, this is your day. You're the empress or emperor of these tamales. So take it away, queen. Take it away, king. Make these your tamales, and everyone in your house is going to be so happy that you did. I promise. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. The possibilities are endless. They really are. Oops. That one broke a little bit. Just the tie. And I'm tying them on both sides, but you don't have to. You could just tie them once, but tying them twice makes them look so pretty. If I could tie them. Your fingers are smaller than mine, so it'll be easier for you. Oh, I love this song. Okay. All right. And this will be my last tamal, and I'm going to do the messy version again with my fingers. So, dry off my tamal hoja a little bit. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I keep going back and forth between tamal, tamales, tamales. Everybody says it differently. No way is right or wrong. There's just a way to say it in English or to say it in Spanish. And my family says both. And yours probably does too. Because it's fun. It's fun that there's all these different ways to describe this delicious gift. Okay. Okay. I said I was going to do this with my fingers, and I ended up doing it with the spoon. You see that? That's instinctual, because this is the way I learned, and that method of doing it with my fingers is a new method I learned. So, sorry. All right. Well, you saw me do it the first time. Okay. So, here we go. In with the filling. Like our little taco. We fold it here and make sure it's completely enclosed. And then with the extra flap, just fold it over. Ooh, and you could see through the hoja right there. There's a fresh strawberry in the masa. This is a special one. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap her up. So that I know the difference, I'm probably just gonna put one tie on this one. Okay. I'm gonna give this one to my son, Max, because he loves strawberries. And he loves tamales too. Okay. This one didn't stay tied though. It's being a rebel, the rebel tamal. Okay. Next, let me check on my water. So it looks like the water's boiling, which is perfect because we'll need it for our next step. So I have my big steamer here, and you could see inside of my steamer, I have some toallas, garras, kitchen towels, whatever you'd like to call them. They're my old ones so that I can feel okay putting them in the steamer. And I also have this aluminum foil ball. So I just got 2 big pieces of aluminum foil and crunched them together so that I can place it here inside the center. So when I put my tamales in, they have something to fall against and they don't fall down. We want them to stay sticking straight up the whole time because this is how they steam. If they fall like this during the steaming process, then all the masa and your filling will fall out into the steamed water. Y ya, you don't have tamales anymore. So we need something to prop them up with. If you don't have aluminum, you can use a little ceramic bowl here. You can use something, but you need something to prop them up. But I have another little tip for you. So find a penny in your house. I have my little magic penny right here. And what you're gonna do is you are going to drop the penny into the bottom of the pot. So the reason I do that is because once I pour the water in, when the water's boiling, that means I can hear the penny. The penny bounces along with the boil. When you don't hear the penny anymore, that is a sure sign that you need to refresh with more water. So always add in the magic penny, especially like this is a tip you can teach mom and dad or grandma and tell them if they're gonna make savory tamales, which usually take a longer time to do. You can tell them, add in the penny because then you'll know when you need to refresh the water. If you can't see the bottom, we don't know, right? So add in your magic penny. Okay, let me now stack in my tamales. And I start by putting them each on either side, just so that they won't fall. And I'm only doing 4 tamales right now, so it's a small little teepee. And then I'm gonna take some extra hojas that I had soaking there. And if you have more tamales in here, obviously your pot's gonna be more full, so you might not need to do this part, but you could also just like fold your hojas into little balls too, to keep your tamales propped up. And yeah, it looks a little bit like a mess in there, but I promise if we had a lot of tamales, it wouldn't look like that. All right. Let me see. And now I'm gonna just go ahead and cover my tamales with hojas. So that when we pour in the water, no water gets on the top of our filling. Just like I said, like a little teepee where building a little hut around our tamales. Any questions? Do we need to stretch? Does anybody want to sing us a Christmas song? Does anybody want to sing Feliz Navidad to us? I would love that. A serenade?
That is a good idea.
Okay. Okay. So now I have my little teepee going, and I'm gonna take my toallas and I'm gonna go wet them. So I'll be right back, but I'm gonna wet these so that they'll be damp, and then we can continue building our tamal steamer. Okay, so they're nice and wet. And I'll start with the little ones first, just so that I could really top these and they're not gonna move now. So I've laid my foundation down. And just from the smallest toalla to the biggest toalla. That way, the big one will cover them all. I'm just going back and forth. And now I have the big one. And we're gonna cover it. And it's so fun. I mean, it's sort of like, think of it as, do you ever build a genie in your living room where you get all the blankets from the house, all the cobijas, and you put chairs and you build a little tent and you can watch TV? That's the same thing. We're building a little tent, like a little cobija house for our tamales. Okay, so you might need mom and dad for this section of this portion of the lesson. I am going to take my steaming boiling water and I'm going to try to pour it right into this section of my pot so that it doesn't hit my tamales. So going here and pouring it in. I already heard my penny bounce because the water went in. Okay. I'm just gonna cover the top and turn on the flame. Now I'm gonna put the flame at high and let my tamales steam for about 45 to an hour. So they cook really fast. This masa is made with margarine, so it cooks really fast. We don't have to wait for hours and hours and hours. We're gonna have tamales in less than an hour. So while those are steaming, I am going to start making a cream. Let me just move some of this stuff out of the way. Are there any questions?
Nope, no questions.
No questions. Oh, you all are pros. I love it. Okay. Move this here. We don't want to work in with a dirty table. I can't work with a dirty table, so I got to clean this up a little bit. Okay. Next. So while my tamales are steaming, I'm going to make, let's see. I think I saw a question. What was the question?
How long does it take to cook a larger batch of tamales?
A larger batch of tamales?
Mm-hmm.
The same amount of time. It should take anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm going to get into further detail on how to check if your tamal is done, but that right there is the answer for these sweet tamales. It's between 45 minutes to an hour. And especially if you pre-boiled your water and you have the flame on high, you should be fine. You should be absolutely fine with 45 to an hour. Okay.
Thank you.
So now for
sorry, and just an overall comment that Liliana says this is really fun. Y que gracias.
Oh, thank you. This is super, super fun for me as well. And just to be completely transparent with you all, this is Christmas for me. And thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming. This is, a special year, and we don't get to be with all of our loved ones. So this is Christmas for me. And thank you. Feliz Navidad. I hope you all are feeling the magic of Christmas and hug your family that you live with super tight and tell them you love them, because Merry Christmas. Okay, let's get back to this crema. Okay, so this is a Gulada Cream, and I'm using a crema Mexicana. You could also use whipping cream. You could use sour cream. You could use creme fraiche. If you don't, you could use, if you don't have those things, you could even use whipped cream from the house, like anything that you have in your house. If you don't eat dairy, you could use coconut cream. Like they sell coconut cream in the can. You could also use almond milk. So there's all sorts of alternatives. Make it the way that you think is perfect for you and your family. Me today, I'm using crema Mexicana. So I'm going to go ahead with 1 cup of crema Mexicana, and then I'm using 2.5 tablespoons of sugar to sweeten it up. Okay. And then just mix this up. Mix it up, mix it up. Okay. And you just want to mix until you don't feel any more of the little granules at the bottom. Like, they sort of feel like little rocks in your cream. You don't want to feel that anymore. So you can feel the texture and the consistency with your whisk. If you don't have a whisk, you could use a fork. So do we have any questions?
No, just thank yous, and thank you, Nicole, for this beautiful opportunity to cook.
Oh, that's so
children.
Sweet. Thank you for joining us.
And thank you for teaching them, allowing them to teach their children the beauty of our culture.
Oh, that makes me happy. Okay, so now I'm going to add in coconut. Not all of it, just some of it, because we're going to sprinkle our tamal on the top with this. Okay. And mix that in. And there's my cream. I can't express how yummy this little cream is. It's so simple, and it's just the 3 little ingredients thrown together, and it's perfect. Okay. So now we're going to talk about our tamal. So I made these tamales. Let me see. I made these tamales yesterday so that I could show you today. And the way you know if your tamal is ready is if the masa doesn't stick to the hoja. So when you take out your first tamal, what you want to do is you want to give it 15 minutes to rest. Before you pull apart your hoja, before you do anything, you take your tamal out of the pot, out of the steamer, you put it on a plate, you let it rest for 15 minutes, and then you check it. Does the hoja stick to the masa? We hope not. And you could see this one. There we go. This one was in the fridge, so the hoja got stuck a little bit to the masa, but it's perfect. And that's how you know. Okay, and then we're gonna get a spoon. Well, I'm gonna get a little cup and just pour it right on top. Pure beauty. And you could put a lot of cream or you could put a little, it just depends. And then take some of your extra coconut and put that on top too. Slice up strawberries and put it on there. It's all, you know, it depends on how you want to present your regalito, okay? I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat it because that would not be fair. But I do want to take this moment to have all of us wish Northgate a happy 40th anniversary. So on the count of 3, or let's do 4 this time, since it's their 40th. On the count of 4, let's say happy anniversary, Northgate. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy anniversary, Northgate. Thank you for bringing everything to our community. Thank you for providing us with toys. Thank you for bringing all of the ingredients that we celebrate our culture with to your store. Thank you. Okay, so with that being said, with everything that we need to do, with all of our accomplishments we've learned to make tamales, I think we need to reward ourselves with a drink. What do you say? Let's make a strawberry frappuccino. So let me get my blender and some ice cream. My whole kitchen's getting all steamed up. All of the windows are steamy. Okay. All right. I got all of my stuff here and we are ready to make our drink. Okay, so I guess I should just move this out of the way. There we go. Okay, first things first. We are going to start with 6 ounces of milk. And again, if you need to use almond milk or oat milk, you can use those things. If you don't have milk, you could use half and half. You could use a few things. So whatever you got in the house, go ahead and add that. And I put it in my little Santa Claus cup because he wanted to say ho ho ho. Okay. And then I'm going to use, let's see, a half a cup of frozen strawberries. And the beauty of using frozen strawberries is that When strawberries are frozen, they freeze them at the height of their ripeness. So during the off season, like December, if you can't get perfectly ripe strawberries, you can always buy frozen strawberries. And I use them for their perfect sweetness, but also they act like an ice. So it makes this drink a little more slushy and icy, sort of like a Slurpee, but a better version. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and get 4 ounces of ice cream. And this might be a little bit more than 4 ounces because I love ice cream. And if you're going to push this ice cream into your blender, make sure you use a utensil or a rubber spatula or something that you're never going to put your fingers next to the blade. And next I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of Nestle Abuelita. So I bought the granulated version, but you could buy if you have the little tablas in your house already, if you have the little Abuelita tablets, you could just grate them and you'll get the same thing. And I bought the granulated version at Northgate. Other markets don't have it, but Northgate does. All right, so go ahead and put that in. And then some vanilla extract. You can add this in. If you don't have vanilla extract, don't worry. It'll still taste super good. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. I'm trying to think. If you don't have a mixer, you could, or if you don't have a blender. Okay. Let's see. Now, this is about to get loud, so if you want to mute your camera, go ahead, but it'll be going until smooth. So here we go. All right. Okay, and you could see the texture is nice and creamy. But before I go ahead and do that, ooh, these tamales are steaming. They're causing an uproar over here. Like, woohoo! Tamales Central. Okay, before I pour this into my cup, I'm gonna show you a little trick. So I got some dulce de leche and I put it in this squeeze bottle. They also sell it where you can, well, that they also sell a squeezable bottle, but if you can't find that, you can just put it in your own squeeze bottle and make a design on your cup. So if you're really artistic, you could write Feliz Navidad, or you could just write joy or do little squiggles like I'm doing, and just decorate your cup so that when you pour in your drink, it looks pretty and festive. Can you see that? Okay. And look at that. Look at my cup now. So when I pour in my drink, it's going to be pretty. And they say that people eat with their eyes, eat with their eyes, drink with their eyes before they even taste the food. So if you can present something really pretty, you're winning half the battle. Okay. Now Not that we need any help with this. This is going to taste delicious. And just pour it in. Pour it in. Pour it in. And if you want to share, you could put it in a smaller glass and make 2, or you could double the ingredients and make a bigger batch. But this is a good drink to have when you're watching a movie, or, oh, you know what? I'm forgetting to decorate the top. Look at this guy. I'm just going to use some ready whipped cream. And here we are. Make it look like Santa's beard. Go as high as you want or as low as you want. If you don't like a lot of whipped cream. And I'm going to take Abuelita chocolate because she wants to get involved too. And just sprinkle it on the top. Ooh, look at that whipped cream's falling because I went too high up. That's okay. Let's just put some little mini marshmallows. And I'm going to shove that whipped cream right there. And there you go. There's your drink. It's like a mountain of happiness. And I hope that you enjoyed this class. I hope that you're going to have the most amazing Christmas with your family. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to Northgate. I want to bring my cute little dinosaur in here to give you his Christmas wishes as well. Come on in. Come on in, little dinosaur. Come in. Say Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Thank you, Northgate. Thank you to everyone who joined us. Feliz Navidad. See you next year. Bye-bye.